Good morning. It's Friday, September 29th, the last day of trading in September, which will come into play into my talk. I'm 25 minutes in on YouTube. It took me 25 minutes to set this up. I am using Chrome on TrendSpider. What I want to tell you about TrendSpider, though, there's a link down below. Tomorrow, absolute last day of this. I'm going to go through the all of the charts. I'll go through how to use TrendSpider. You can look. If you listen to me, you'll understand how to use TrendSpider, how to use my algorithm, how to use the scanners, how to use all of that. Again, I'm 25 minutes in. If you want to listen to the first 25 minutes of the podcast, you will hear me go through all of the scanners that I do. And I give you all of these. We scan the daily stock pick core portfolio, the levered ETFs, all the oil names that I have traded, and you get all of those watch lists, and you can scan them with my personal scanner. So, which ties into the algorithm. It's all a system. It is $250 for the year. I urge you, if you're ever thinking about signing up, this is by far the best offer you're going to get. I don't think you're going to get a $125 offer. I don't think you're going to get a $220 offer for 1 year. I don't think you're going to get a $230 offer. This is absolutely it, $249. The deal is over at the end of the end of tomorrow. Now, if you want, there is a summer offer. I think it's a fall offer, 70% off. It's not as good. It's not up to 70%. You get 70% off the Elite Plus. You don't get 70% off the Elite. I think it comes out to $300. So if you want this deal, do not wait on it. $249. I can't, there's no turning back after tomorrow. So I urge you to sign up for that one. That's the first thing that I want to bring up. The second thing I really want to go over is SPY. We've talked about SPY kind of capitulating down here, how it was so far under the 9-day. Well, it's kind of on the 9-day right now. And those of you that have the algorithm in TrendSpider, you'll know MACD plays a big portion of that. It is not crossing up on the strike line yet. It is very, very close. Maybe this morning it might cross up. That might be an absolute cross up there. It might be an opportunity for us to get into SPY. Now, the other thing I want to look at SPY is the seasonality. It is the last day of September, which is the worst month for the last 31 years. Now, October, one of the best months. It's the top 3 months: October, November, December. Where do we think we're going in SPY? You're about to have a MACD cross up. You're about to get confirmation above that 9-day. In the pre-market, you are way up. This is an oversold market. This may be just a little bit of a bounce, but it's an oversold market. I don't want you to get out of this one and say, oh my God, things are going down. All of the news is bad. I'm going to get out. I haven't sold my target. The reason I haven't sold my target is it's kind of capitulating around the 109 level. And I do think that we'll get a bounce. QQQ, same thing. Look at that MACD. That MACD is about to cross up. Oh, I don't want that. I'm moving the MACD around. I shouldn't do that. I wanted to extend this so I can show you. Yeah. See, it's about to cross up. So what are you doing? Again, we look at the seasonality of QQQ for the last 25 years. Look at how low September is. It's not the worst month. February is your worst month for 25 years by 2%. But you've got some of your best months. Again, 67%. This is tied for the second best month with March. Your best month is by far November, 75%. You go down to 50% in December, but that most likely is tax loss harvesting, not necessarily how successful the market is. It gets brought down because of tax loss harvesting. People start selling, so the volume starts really getting pressure on there. This was crazy yesterday, is that if you look at QQQ and we look at kind of a 5-minute, let's go to a 5-minute. You'll see yesterday, midday, it just kind of took off. I mean, it really, really did. Here is yesterday. This is the 9:35 right there. It's a 5-minute chart, so every 5 minutes there's a candle. And right here at about 11 o'clock, almost 12, it just took off. We went up to 360 on the Qs. That was crazy. It got overbought. See, the MACD kind of crosses down. The RSI's at 76, cools off, comes right back down. We're right at the oscillator mark here to start. The futures are looking way up. Where RSI is at 50, I'd expect a bounce today. 100%, I would expect a bounce today. That's what I'm looking at. So, by the way, another thing have you guys seen this YouTube and social media thing where girlfriends are asking their boyfriends, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? Yeah, I'm tapped into pop culture because I'm about, I guess, 2 months afterwards. But I don't get it. But what I do get is that women are on there asking, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And then when the dude says, I don't know, I don't think about it. Or, the most popular response is the guy responds with, I think about it all the time, at least twice a day. And then the woman is like, well, this dude who can't remember to take out the garbage, doesn't remember our anniversary, doesn't remember anything about picking up the kids from school, but he thinks about the Roman Empire. I thought it was funny. I geeked out yesterday on YouTube and Instagram watching Roman Empire videos. Yeah. I don't ask me why. This article, I will include this in the newsletter. 7 of the best ways to invest $5,000. There is a paragraph in here. And it's this one, smart beta funds. For a shot at beating the market over the long term, consider investing $5,000 in smart beta fund. Unlike traditional market capitalization-based index funds, smart beta funds utilize rules-based methodologies to emphasize specific investment factors. One that they bring up is GLOF. And I wanted to look at this one because it's a one-size-fits-all global equity, iShares Global Equity ETF. Now, the algorithm outperforms this one over 2 years. You lose 11% versus losing 5% on the algorithm. It's down this far. But what I wanted to do was go to Seeking Alpha and kind of look at this from a fundamental standpoint. And we can put in GLOF. I should have done this beforehand. I don't know why. Chrome just seems to lag. And I'm using Chrome because of TrendSpider. But Chrome just seems to lag. Safari's so much better. Now, Quant says hold. If we look at the charting on this one, we can look at the holdings of this. Let's see. Holdings, top 10 holdings, Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, NVIDIA, top 8, and United Healthcare, Procter & Gamble, Eli Lilly, AbbVie. This might as well be the core portfolio. That only makes up 18%. Total number of holdings is 622. If we go to expenses to kind of look, okay, what are we paying for this? Expense ratio, A-, it's 0.20. Not bad at all. Momentum, B+. Let's take a look at how it tracks against. We'll do QQQ and we'll do SPY because those are the two. You know what? We'll do QQQ, SPY, and VOO. Might as well. Let's look at these. Those are the ones that you really want to do. And is quant investing. This is Global Equity Factor ETF. A targeted approach based on decades of financial research. Now, 1 year, QQQ outpacing it by a large margin. GLOF is the laggard in 1 year. Let's look at 3 year. GLOF, laggard. Again, QQQ, SPY, VOO, greatly outpace it. 5 year, GLOF, greatly underperforming. 10 year, let's take a look. This is GLOF, greatly underperforming. So my point in this was, and I didn't know this was it. It sounded interesting. Do your research. Understand what you're investing in. Because you see an article like this and you see somebody pull out GLOF, Yeah, do your research. What I just did, I didn't have this pre-planned. I didn't know anything about it, but this is the benefit of having something like Seeking Alpha in looking at stuff. And this is what I'm doing for the core portfolio. I'm taking the core portfolio and I'm saying, am I better off in ETFs or am I better off having this single stock? If the single stock over the long term or the short term doesn't beat out, and we can look at 1 month on this GLOF, it outperforms, looks like it outperforms everything in 1 month. So it provides you some safety. But from a 6-month standpoint on, it underperforms. So I like, again, you're going to have to do your research with stuff like that. But I will include that article in the newsletter so that you can read it. Best ways to if you have best ways to invest $5,000. That's what it said. There is a great thread from Tom Lee, not the drummer, from Tom Lee about the S&P downturn in September and what August. He is still calling for a bullish sentiment in the market till the end of the year. If you listen to his end of year target, I mean, we got 20% up, 20, 30% up in the market. So he's super, super bullish. I like this thread. Nobody wants a government shutdown or a strike, but these will actually pass and investors should not be making long-term adjustments based on these 100%. Oil, on the other hand, are more meaningful concerns because oil will not come down as long as the Saudis continue to cut production. And if the Biden administration still has a low emergency oil reserve, there's not much they can do. And it's not like we're not pumping. If you look at the amount of energy that we're putting out, we are energy independent again. We are putting out more than we did prior to the pandemic. So we're absolutely doing this thing. But the reality is that oil is hurting because nations like China and others are taking a little bit more oil. India, if they want to be a friend of the United States, they may stop buying from Russia. And so they may increase the demand on the world oil supply. And Tom Lee even points it out. They could strike a deal with OPEC. Higher interest rates is tightening financial conditions. He points out all of that stuff. So I'll include this in the newsletter, a link to it so you can read it. I'm going to play this and hopefully you can hear this, but it is an absolute, Jason from TrendSpider does an absolute masterclass, a masterclass on how to look at a stock like Apple. And this is from yesterday. So it's super, super timely. I want you to listen to this.
Hey everybody, Jason here. Marcus had a really nice day today. I'm even seeing some bottom callers out there, so that's got me looking at the bellwether Apple. Now we all remember earlier this month, the news out of China, they were going to ban iPhones for all government employees. That was what really started this secondary wave down in the indexes. And then this news hit, iPhone 15 overheating, burning people's hands. You would think that this would cause the stock to keep falling, and yet it's not. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's because Apple is now at a very compelling zone. Let me show you what TrendSpider sees. First up, you got the anchored VWAP from the January 2023 lows, you got the 200-day moving average, and you got the bottom of the May earnings gap up, all right here around 166, 167 bucks. When we flip over to this chart, we see clear bullish RSI divergence on the daily. They're trying to hold the 0.382 fib retracement from the January lows. When an asset stops dropping on bad news, you got to start paying attention. When we look at seasonality, we see something that's crystal clear. September is the worst performing month historically for Apple. So it's just doing what it always does in September. When we look at October, it's the best performing month. When we add mean change, we see mean change historically in October, 6.5%. Carry that 6.5% over to the chart and we fill the gap that was created on the Chinese iPhone ban. Pretty interesting, right? So I have to ask you guys, is Apple bottoming here? If so, what does that mean for the indexes? Leave your comments below. And listen, if you're ready to...
Okay, that's it. An absolute masterclass. I will leave a link to that video. Should you expect to absolutely do that analysis? I can't do that analysis. Jason is a master at TrendSpider. He understands everything. We talked about yesterday how this MACD is kind of still going down, how I expect Apple to go down. It's up 1% in its pre-market. I don't know that I necessarily agree with him that this is the bottom. I do agree with him that October is a seasonally positive for Apple. Look, 71. It's the best. It's pretty much tied. 31 years. 31 years of data. That means 31 times. Out of 31 times, 7 out of 10 times, you have an up. It is up in October. So I do think, is it time to buy it? Again, I said, hey, at 160, under 170, it makes sense to start a position. I pointed out that MACD, it's still weak, not going up. You're going to open up about 172, so you're going to start up here. You have confirmation over the 9-day. So I do want you to think about, again, I point out, I don't think if you have no experience charting before, you're not going to be able to go into TrendSpider and do what Jason did. I can't do what Jason did. Half that stuff that he finds out and that stuff, it's about digging in. If you want to follow him on Twitter, you absolutely can. He is an unbelievable trader, and he does this for a living. So it's a masterclass. It's an absolute masterclass. Evan on Twitter, he posted here. This was interesting. All of these stocks, Disney, PayPal, Target, Pfizer, UPS, Citi, Bristol-Myers, Dollar General, Estee Lauder, General Mills, Kellogg, Southwest, NextEra, Newmont, Realty Income, and Square all hit 52-week lows yesterday. Just yesterday, 52-week lows yesterday. So, there's opportunities in this market. Nike shares rebounded 10%. They're up 10% from the earnings yesterday. We talked about it earlier in the week, how Nike and Micron were the two ones that we were looking for earnings. I wasn't super positive on Nike. Nike in the pre-market is trading at 98. You know where that is? That is up here. You have confirmation above the 9-day. You have it bouncing off an RSI at 20. You have the MACD crossing up. Is Nike a buy at 98? I mean, from a long-term perspective, absolutely. If we look at weekly on Nike and you get to 98, let's look at 98. You're just below that 9-day at 98. You might get confirmation on that 9-day. Now, every time that Nike has gotten confirmation on the 9-day, look at that. It pops up. I think the top that you're looking at is 120. You're going to use that 200-day as resistance. This, on a weekly, you had your death cross, but that 50-day, while it stopped going negative, it will start turning positive. So if you think this is a bottom, Nike, probably a pretty good buy here. Let's take a look. Look, every time Nike has hit that 200-day. This was the housing crisis. Or I'm sorry, that was 2017 where they started raising. That was COVID where it got under the 200-day when the world shut down. Let's see. We're going to pull this one back here. Has it touched again? Let's look at a monthly. We'll go to a monthly so we can even look back. And again, remember when you change these, the moving averages change everything. Look at how far, if you want, we'll take this. We'll take this channel and we'll start this at 2000 at the dot bomb at the bottom. If you're assuming that this one is the bottom, you got to touch 3. So I've got to point this out here. You got to touch 3 points. 3 points right there. And then you put the 3 points right here where you're touching at least 3 points. Boom. You've got a range between 109 and 225. That's your range in an upward trajectory on Nike. Look at how low that MACD has on a monthly. It's just oversold. So it bouncing, not a shock at all. If you want to get into that one, your boy here, I don't wear Nike. I'm not a huge fan of Nike. Their shoes are too thin for me. Their clothes are too rough for me. Nike's not my thing. But they are the largest apparel maker in the world. Huge China rebound would mean this. Cloud services Workday tumbled the most since 2020 after cutting its subscription revenues annual growth forecast, citing an uncertain economic environment. Is this overdone? It's under its 200-day. You can make that determination. I like Workday. I think they have a great fundamental business. It's software. So I don't think anybody's necessarily cutting it. I think they are probably looking at some expenses. So from a long-term standpoint, from a 4-hour standpoint, you're still out. That MACD is still going down. So from a 4-hour standpoint, I would not buy it. If you want to talk about, getting a position in there, I don't think it's horrible. You're in pre-market. You are, let me just make this a little bit bigger. God, I hate how slow Chrome is. Let me make sure that I'm not, I am doing that. Let's see. I am making that smaller. So let's pull that back a little bit. I'm going to change that just so you can see it. There we go. Okay. That's about right. We'll pull this way. Yeah. I mean, look, under the 200 day, you haven't spent much time under the 200 day. And immediately it's under the 200 day. So are you at your low? Nah. 2022 was the lows. October 2022, you came down to 130. So this one's, you do have, 280? Let's look at Workday in the FinViz. Workday. We'll look at the 52-week range here on Workday. 128 to 252. And you're going to open up 210 or something. I don't have it up on my screen, but yeah. It's PE, forward PE of 32. It's expensive, but as that number comes down, pretty low. August 25th, reiterated, the average target price is 259. You were up there. Again, it was extended. Whenever they initiate or throw out, hey, we don't know if there's a lot. The CEO on August 29th just bought $2 million worth at 240. That's not a small amount. 10% owner just sold at 250. Boy, that's in question. That's kind of suspicious. Before they bring down their forward stuff, a 10% owner sells $27 million worth. That's kind of interesting. SEC may want to look at that one, but you know what? They won't. I was just listening to the guy who wrote Dumb Money, the movie, which I'm excited to see Dumb Money. But he was saying, it's rigged towards the small guy. Mara yesterday. Mara had a big jump. I think most of crypto had a big jump. So Mara yesterday, we talked about this one. I like this one to go back to 10. It's up in the pre-market at 880 something. I can't really see it. Let's close this. Let's close, and I can close that one, and I'll close this one, and let's see if the pre-market comes up now on the tab. 868. 868 up slightly. You do have a buy in the algorithm. I need to put that on the scans. Hold on one second. We need to throw that on the scans. There's two ones that I was going to cover that are now scans. 862. Now you've lost on the last. This one you made. 1083. You got up to 13. You can't tell me that you didn't sell when it hit the 200 day right there and lost its confirmation. So I'm not counting that one as a loss. Now the algorithm loses you money, loses you 44%, loses you 72% if you just bought and held over 2 years. Your average win though is 42%. So this one, it reacts quickly. This is the stock that you want to trade, Mara. Under 10, I think you get back to 10. 12 is the 200 day. I don't think 10 is crazy to think that you're going to get back to 10. So it just depends on crypto as a whole. But Mara, I had that one down there. Mullen was down 10%. Now, again, with my algorithm, Joe trades Mullen with the 65-minute. We'll take a look at this one. Mullen was down 7% today or yesterday. It is down even more today. Let's look at Mullen 65 minute algorithm. Let's see if it has you in or out. Probably has you out. Yeah, you're out. It's going to open up at 44.77 cents, so it's up slightly. Probably not one that you want to take a chance on. But I noticed that Mullen was down pretty far yesterday. One that wasn't down, and one that actually has a cross up in the 4 hour. And mind you, I don't recommend the 4 hour for this stock, even though the 4 hour algorithm has you making a S-ton of money. So the 4 hour algorithm on a stock, IONQ, you guys know this is quantum computers. Brandon has talked about this one. Brandon is in on this one. He is all GameStop. He's roaring. He's our roaring kitty singing, I like the stock, rapping that song. IONQ just opened up. It's at 1550. Slightly up from where it was yesterday. It was up big. The algorithm has a buy-in. If you look, the MACD is down here, down at the bottom. It crossed up. If you look at the RSI, it's at 50. 1544 was the buy-in. IONQ, 1544 was the buy-in. Here's a stock that had a huge jump yesterday, JBL, Jabil Inc. It was on their earnings, up 20% yesterday. It's up another 1% today. Besides, investors are excited about selling its mobility unit to China, BYD Electronic, for 2.2. So BYD, you guys know that BYD, he's got a Bermuda grass channel too. BYD is, if you want to look up Bermuda grass. But BYD Electric is BYD. That is the company that Berkshire Hathaway has invested in China, and they think that they'll beat Tesla. This will allow them to increase its existing buyback program to $2.5 billion in shares. So JBL, interesting yesterday. I saw that one. Another one that I brought up, not just Mara, but one that Scott got into that I got into, I'm in at I think my average target price is like 260 something. So I'm back in the green here. But we said yes a couple days ago, 245 SMCI. I told you it was going to use that 200-day as its support level. It absolutely did. This one is up another 2% in pre-market in the market today. It's SMCI, Super Microcomputer. You guys know this one I've talked about that I think the valuation is not crazy, unlike NVIDIA. The valuation on this one is absolutely 100% not crazy. This one I think goes back to these levels at 300. I think it covers this gap at 345 and continues its run. They set up the NVIDIA rigs. So when you buy an NVIDIA rig and you need AI and you have to put up your servers, these are the guys that do it. The CEO grew up, they started their company the same time NVIDIA did. NVIDIA just became huge. Jensen Huang is a friend of the CEO. So I do think that, quarter to date. Look at SolarEdge down 49% quarter to date. One that, this was interesting. So I get the email every morning, and here, this is the email that I get. It's Pre-Market Portfolio Digest. It's from Seeking Alpha. And if you want to sign up for Seeking Alpha, there's a link down below, saves you $50. I am an affiliate. Pre-Market Portfolio Digest. This was interesting. Yesterday's gainers, Shopify, Tesla, and Snowflake are up again today. Top losers, XOM was down, Lilly was down, Boeing was down. Now, here's the ratings downgrade. Disney was just upgraded from a hold to buy. It gets bopped that back down to hold, which was crazy. Coke, strong buy. Well, yesterday, quant rating goes back to hold, which means they're updating it every day. PanW Wall Street rating, strong buy to buy. That's just based on it. There was, and I'll include this in the newsletter as well, an exec from Meta, sold $200,000 worth. The chief counsel, Jennifer Newstead. I don't think that's crazy. I mean, if we go over here and we look up Meta, I continue to say, and if you haven't seen, Lex Friedman did an amazing interview with Mark Zuckerberg, and they did it in the metaverse. Now, am I blown away by it? Kind of. Am I thinking that people are going to spend $600, $1,500 on a headset to be able to do this? I don't know. I mean, Meta's certainly pushing it that way. The PE is 35. The forward PE, which is what you want with this one, is 18. So you're paying 18 times earnings, whereas they're going to continue to grow that. That's why the current PE is 35, but the forward PE is 18. They're expecting this to grow. You are 6% below your 52-week high of 326. I said, buy this under 300. Absolutely buy this under 300. When you look at this, chief legal officer, yeah, there's a bunch of sales in here, $200,000. So she's selling $1 million worth. Chief operating officer sold $1 million worth, just under 300. Chief financial officer right there sold $5 million worth. When you're talking about a company with a market cap of $782 billion, and these are people that started the company. They're starting the company. These aren't people who are, just getting in there and just starting to sell right now. They started this company. They are pulling some money out. That's what they're doing. Again, it is up. Year to date, this is up 152%. I don't blame these people for pulling their money out. But that's what comes with this email. This email has all of the breaking news as far as my platform, my portfolio goes. I like it. I love that email. It finds me out a lot of things. Now, the other thing that Seeking Alpha gives us is, this is the Daily Stock Pick Core Portfolio. I have not updated this. So if you want to see the core portfolio and you don't have Seeking Alpha, or, I haven't made it public in Seeking Alpha. I will in Seeking Alpha, but here you go. Core portfolio, Savvy Trader, SAVVY trader.com/daily stock pick. Join. You should be a member of this. This is a way to journal your trades. I do it. I do it personally. When I found these guys a couple months, I think, ago, I started doing it on my personal. I don't make my personal public. I do have a public trading portfolio where I bought Uber this week, and I let you guys know I bought Uber. A Daily Stock Pick Core Portfolio. It's an equal weighted core portfolio. Equal weighted. So if you I have to sign in, I guess. Let's say. Did I? No, I didn't. I can't sign in. But you can see it there. Just go to Savvy Trader. We're going to take this subscription thing out. But the other thing that Savvy Trader got me was I input all of the Daily Stock Pick Core portfolio. And we can look at the quant rating. And Meta, we talked about Meta. I don't think Meta's hurt. Meta is the top stock in their quant rating. 4.99 out of 5. So they're screaming buy it. That's what the quant rating is. Now, Wall Street, screaming buy it. It's at 4.5. The Seeking Alpha analyst rating, 3.7. They're saying maybe it's run a little bit too much this year. That Seeking Alpha analyst, what I'm finding is a lot of these guys are boomers. So they don't understand that Meta is the lead advertising. They're taking some of Google's share. Ironically, Google is number 2. The reason these are 1 and 2 is the ad market is coming back, and it's coming back in a big way. And that's why Shopify is number 3, small to medium business. They're finding other avenues to sell. That's it. Pepsi, I'd be a little bit afraid of. FBCG, this is the ETF from Fidelity that outpaces Cathie Wood's. And we can look at that if FBCG, let's just look. We'll go to Seeking Alpha and we'll type in FBCG and we'll look up Fidelity Blue Chip Growth. I think my dad bought this one when I first found it. And we'll go to charting. And let's just chart it against VOO. And we'll trash the S&P. We'll do VOO. And we'll do ARKK. Those are the two. Yeah, let's put in ARKW. I think ARKW is a better ETF for Cathie Wood's, but let's take a look at the 3. So the 3, 1 year, FBCG, up 34%. You double VOO. You greatly outpace ARKK and ARKW. 6 months, let's look. FBCG, 17%. VOO, 8%. ARKK, 3%. ARKW, 6.55%. 1 month. I don't suggest trading this one, but you can see, it loses you 2% versus the VOO loses you 4%. Now, if we look at 1 year, let's go into long term. FBCG, 34%. VOO, 15%. 3 year, FBCG, 19%. VOO, 27%. Look at the ARK funds. They're down up to 50%. 5 year, you look at this. Cathie Wood said she will double your money in 5 years. Well, she's lost you 15%. in ARKK, lost you 6% in ARKW. Meanwhile, FBCG is up 46%. VOO beats it at 5 years at 47%. You go even longer. Let's go 10 years. Look at how VOO performs. So that's what I'm basing, by the way, my algorithm on. Now, ARKW beats it by a long shot, 187.61%. It's only till 2014. And FBCG, by the way, has only been in existence since 6/8/2020. That's why you're underperforming a lot of these in FBCG. You can see that yellow line down at the bottom on that screen, on that chart. It just doesn't perform as well. And the reason it doesn't perform as well, it just hasn't been around as long. So I love the email for that reason, and I'll include that. Let me get out of here. We'll go back over to TrendSpider and we'll look at our social requests. Bruno, it's Bruno again from Spotify. He says it's Bruno again. I'm not making a joke. He says, hey, Gary, it's Bruno again. It's not ABR Realty. It should be ABR Arbor Medicals. Arbor Medicals. Arbor Metals. ABR Metals. Okay. ABR Metals is ABRMF. You can't, Bruno, you have to give me the stock symbol. First rule of this is, if you're going to tell me to look at a stock, tell me the stock symbol. Don't tell me the name. Don't say, hey, look up ABR. ABR is a symbol, and that's realty. So ABRF, ABRMF is what you want me to. This is a new one. It's a new small cap. So let's see, ABRMF. It's not even in FinViz. So, for me, metals, they don't have it in FinViz. I'd stay away. If it's not in FinViz and the chart is as ugly as it is there, I'd stay away. And TTZ, I made a mistake. TTZ, let's look up TTZ. Let's look up TTZ for, I don't see TTZ. That's Cotton Futures, TTZ. I don't see it. I don't see either one, Bruno. I'd love to look at them for you, but I don't see either one. And if they're small caps, I just don't have information on it. So I don't know where you're getting it, but if you give me stock symbols I can look at, go to FinViz, and you know, FinViz is there. If you guys want to look up these stocks, look at FinViz. If it's not there, you can't find the information about it. Why in the world would you invest in something where you can't find information about it? Because if you're looking at small caps and things of that sort, you're basically, you want information. If you can't get public information, that means that, for me, I just wouldn't do it. Trevor from Facebook asked me to look at Micron earnings and Generac. Let's look at Micron earnings. Micron earnings weren't that bad. They just weren't that good. But, they did tank. I mean, they tanked on earnings. What did it do? It came right back. I mean, you closed at, right before earnings, you closed at 66.97. Today you're at 67.14. That's how strong even a bad quarter, they're not making money. They're losing $1.07. Their ex-dividend date is on October 9th. If you want to read about the earnings, you just go over to FinViz. And there's a ton of articles. Let's see if anybody changed their rating. Because usually when a company does earnings, they change their rating. Average target price is 78. September 28th, yep. Evercore reiterated. Let's see. Deutsche Bank upgraded them, $85 price target. September 26th, Evercore reiterated, outperformed, raised their price target from 80 to 90. And just yesterday, Needham reiterated, buy $75. So you can read about their earnings right here. If we look at the insiders, the CEO is exercising options and selling at this price, selling a good amount. I mean, a couple $1 million in one. But, again, this is a company with a $71 billion market cap, up year to date 30%. They're 12% below their 52-week high of 74. So I don't think it's a horrible one. Micron is pretty good with the AI stuff. They were limited in China. I don't know much about them, but I do know that it's a good company. It's solid. A good company with good earnings. He also wants me to look at Generac. Let's see. Generac is, let's see, GNRC. This is the company that makes backup power for your house and stuff. Their earnings were way back here, dropped down. I mean, I see it as a pop here, 109. The one thing I know about Generac is I think they had a huge run up during the pandemic. Yeah, that's a pandemic stock if I ever saw one right there. You see, this is COVID on the weekly. It went all the way from $93 to $400, almost $500. Yeah, $524. So you're down at 110. Now, GRNRC, let's look at their FinViz stuff. FinViz, the S&P 500, $6 billion market cap, not huge. 45 PE, 14 forward PE. Their specialty industrial machinery. Target price is 141, and you're trading at 108. It is 41% down from its 52-week high of 186, 26% above its 52-week low of 86. It is up 8% year to date. Over 1 year, you're down 40%. Looks like they're getting some upgrades here with a price target. August 4th, Truist hold to buy with a $160 price target. Morningstar Research, there's a great article on it if you want to read it. I'm not a fan of this one. I just, for me, I'm not a guy who invests in backup power. Now, my brother just built a shore house, fairly big shore house, by the way, 7 figures, and he put a Generac backup system in, and it was the most economical. Natural gas, I think, is what it is, down at the Jersey Shore. So he decided to put it in. I don't necessarily see the benefit of something like that, but I do know my neighbors have a Generac as well. They like it. They enjoy it. This one, I think this one, the only reason this came back to this level, I mean, remember, prior to the pandemic, it was a $109 stock. It's just made its retracement. Doesn't mean it can't go back down to the 80s. You can see it just continued. The selling pressure just continued down. Does it mean it's coming back to 150? Well, when we look over here at FinViz, you can see the average target price is 141. The forward PE is 14. As long as they keep up that earnings, the earnings momentum, they're up 1% in the pre-market here. Let's go back to the 4 hour so I can see their earnings. I do see their earnings moving up. Their earnings kind of leveled off. The reason this one fell so much, it went from 63 cents to $1.08, but you can see they were at $1.78. So they're still considered to be losing money. Let's load this back and let's move it back a little bit to see other quarters. 175. If we go back here, 299, 209. Again, you kind of look at this one and you can see clearly they just went down. They had a bunch of sales in the pandemic. Same thing with Etsy. Same thing with all of those. You can clearly see that it's just not something that I would necessarily go into. So I'd be a little bit careful of Generac. But battery backups for me are probably the way to go. And I don't think that Generac does. I think they do batteries, but my understanding is Tesla is obviously the biggest one that I know about, but others. So let's go to scans. IONQ. I mean, we went over IONQ, had a cross up. By the way, there are just too many scans. If you have TrendSpider and you, what am I doing? If you have TrendSpider and you are able to do the scans yourself, because I will list most of them in the newsletter, but I will not list all of them in the newsletter. There's just too many to actually list. I got to move this all the way back. There we go. Let's run this. Let's see if that fixes the chart. No, it didn't. Hold on one second. We're going to have to... why is it doing this? Bear with me. There we go. That's still bad too. No, I don't want to. I want to shrink it down. Let's go to Mara. Let's see what Mara has to say about this. Oh, see, I'm going to have to relog in. How do I refresh? There we go. Let's refresh this. Let's refresh TrendSpider. And we'll go back into the default workspace. And I think that resets my stuff. Yeah, Generacs are hugely popular in Houston. I think all over the country, Generacs are pretty popular. And I don't mean to talk down about it. I think they're a good company. I just think they're one of those pandemic companies that needs to, continue that streak on. I think they just lost their way a little bit. I mean, when the stock runs up that much and your earnings can't keep up, it's going to go down. I mean, that's essentially what that is. So, okay. Uber has a cross up. I bought Uber. So first one, IONQ. Second one, Mara. Uber. And both IONQ and Mara, we went over. Uber, 46.15. It's at 46.66. I bought in the 45s. A small lot. I'm going to continue to add to it. I think it's at least a $50 stock by the end of the year, which means you get your 10%. Sedge is one, and I'm down 40% on this one. It's just not, I mean, I wouldn't take a bet on it. Again, it has its confirmation today. It's up at 133. It's above its 9-day. Is that moving up? I don't know. I mean, that MACD is kind of flat on there. The RSI is at 40, so it's quickly moving up into the kind of no man's land. When it gets over 50, that's when it tends to be a little bit sketchy. But that one, you got to move up. Take a look at the chart on that one before you buy it. I am holding it. I'll probably dollar cost average into that one. PanW, I said this is a $250 stock. 235 is the cross up on that one. SQ, Square, we went over some that hit a 52-week low yesterday. Square was one of them. You have confirmation, it's 44.34. That MACD is super low. The RSI is still at 30. Their earnings are coming up on November 3rd. So in November, you got plenty of time. This one, from a long-term standpoint, it has been a deadly one. I hold this one in my IRA. Should have gotten rid of it. It is stuck in an IRA that I just don't look at enough. And I didn't look at it for 2 years now. And that's the part of the problem with having too many brokerage accounts and IRA accounts and managing stuff. When it hit that 200-day, should have absolutely sold on this weekly. I just don't know if it's coming back. They're having some operational issues. Some people left. Jack Dorsey is now the CEO again. It's a little bit much. Costco, great earnings. The consumer at Costco, go to Costco on a weekend, $568. It's a $600 stock by the end of the year. Honest to God, they're just killing it. They didn't raise the price of the hot dog again. Go and have lunch there. Meta, we have a cross up. This one, I said get under 300. If you buy it here, I don't think it's anything horrible. 303, but you're at 310. I think 310, you're still fine. Their earnings are coming up in October. You'll be fine buying Meta here. mRNA. I put this one in the core portfolio, and I say it all the time. The reason I put it in is because you can trade this. It's up 2% at 102. COVID shots, I think the most recent thing that I said that I read is 25% of people are planning on getting their next COVID shot. They're just kind of living with COVID. So Moderna's a one-trick pony. Their COVID is it. Until they come out with something else, you can play this one for some COVID hype. I ordered my free tests again from the government, so it is what it is. COP, Shell, all the oils that Albemarle, ALB, Schlumberger, SLB, Halliburton, HAL. But here's ConocoPhillips. This is, once again, it just crosses up, and it's at 121. I think oil is a good place to put your money. One that I do think that is interesting, and we've brought this up many, many times. The CEO was buying into this the whole time. From $12 here in August, you're at $14 now. Energy Transfer, ET. The MACD is just kind of floundering around here. It's still high. The RSI is at 60. 70's oversold. Their earnings are coming out October 31st. So you have 1 month to get it. That 200-day is positive. The 50-day is positive. The 21 and the 9-day, all positive. You have confirmation. I think it's a $16 stock at some point in time. Energy Transfer, if we go over here, let's go over here because I can take a look in FinViz. And again, you guys have access to all this stuff. It's not proprietary. It's not charging. Anything that you want to look up on FinViz, you can absolutely look up. Look at the forward PE, 9. The actual dividend is 8.88. This is up 18% year to date. Over 1 year, it's up 26%. The average target price is $17.27. You're at your 52-week high. I don't think you're crazy buying, even though you're at your 52-week high. When you look, these guys are buying. September 5th, $13.79. The co-CEO bought, $2 million worth? It's about almost $1.2 million worth. Co-CEO. Kelsey Warren, I mean, look at this dude. He's buying at $13. He's buying millions. I mean, we're talking probably almost $1 billion worth of buys from the executive chairman from February to August between the price of $12 and $13. So, and the co-CEOs buying at $13.64 and $13.79. They're putting their money where their mouth is. This is a natural gas pipeline transportation and transmission service. These guys are nat gas. They're going to kill it as nat gas continues to go up. Nat gas is cheap right now, and these guys are transporting it, and they're making their money. UMDD, URTY, HIBL, DPST, triple levered ETFs that all had cross-ups. The one that I am going to look at is XLI Industrials. XLI, let's look at XLI, because this is the only spider sector that crossed up. And I do think it's beaten down. It's under its 200-day. 101.94, you're at 102.19. You're up 0.26%. This one you could be looking at. If you want to see what's in the industrials, go over to FinViz. You can see what's in XLI. They'll show you exactly what's in XLI. You can take a look if you want to invest in a company that's beaten down on that. This one has been beaten down enough. I think it's probably due for a bounce. You're back to where you were in June of this year. It's made its complete round trip. So, I think XLI probably is a good one there. Coinbase had a cross up. And again, I'm telling you, there's so many on this list that are good. And there's just not enough money in my bank account to buy all these companies. Coinbase, 75.15. You're trading at 76. As crypto continues to go up, Coinbase will go up. Gary Gensler said he didn't think that Bitcoin was a currency. So are they up for regulation? When that Bitcoin ETF comes out, you're going to see Coinbase just pop. The ARKs. ARKF, $19.50. While I believe in Cathie Woods over the short term, I think you trade these. ARKG, I know nothing about financials, fintech. I know nothing about genomics. So these are two ETFs that I would absolutely look. And I've held these in the past. I've traded them in the past. ARKF, or ARKG, which is the genomics one, the algorithm loses you 32% over 2 years. But buying and holding this loses you 62% over 2 years. Your average win is 6.28% for an ETF. That's pretty good. It's pretty volatile, if you want to know the real truth. ARKW is one that I have held. I think this is her best ETF. It outperforms ARKK. I like ARKW because it includes GBTC and other features that I like that ARKK does not heavily weight. ARKK is heavily weighted Tesla. I just like ARKW. It's got a cross up 53.44. You're at 54. Rivian. I've talked about Rivian. I think it's a $30 stock at some point in time when it was at 19. I pounded the table to buy. I did not. I went out walking or hiking or was doing something. I've gotten myself pretty fat over these past 2 weeks since I got my wisdom teeth taken out and now I can eat. But 2303, it's a cross up. 2303, I think it's a $30 stock. They will release their deliveries next week, so you'll see it. Caterpillar. I do own Caterpillar in my Webull account. Again, if you want charting software and you don't have it, get Webull. It's the best charting software that's for free out there, I think, specifically for Mac. I like AccuTrader Pro a little bit more if you're on a PC. with Fidelity, but Webull really has some quality charting and scanning software out there. Caterpillar, 276.15. You're up near your 52-week highs, your all-time highs. I don't think that's horrible because Caterpillar, again, they're going to kill it. I own this one. Cisco, AVGO, which is Broadcom. Cisco is one that I think you could actually get 10% out. Broadcom, AVGO, GM, and General Dynamics. There's your scans. Again, I will urge you, TrendSpider, $250 offer, all the charts that you saw, all the scanning that I've done, all of that is available to you to do. It's $250 for the year. You will not see that price again. It's up tomorrow, so take advantage of it. It goes back to the regular sales, which are somewhere in the $300 range. So save the $50. You don't get the 7-day trial, but what the process is use that link below, get the $250, sign up for it, email me at dailystockpick3@gmail.com. If you can't remember that, just remember linktr.ee/dailystockpick. Click on this link. I'll take it out tomorrow. I won't have it in tomorrow, but I'll include it tomorrow. You can click on that link. If you want $50 off of Seeking Alpha, I love Seeking Alpha. I love that email in the morning. I love their quant ratings. I love their charting. Right here, $50 off. If you want Webull and get free stocks right there, you can get that. If you want to read the newsletter, dailystockpick.substack.com, it is free. Weekends, I do charge for the weekends. It's more educational. Visible, if you're paying anything more than $25 for your phone service, Visible, this gets you $20 off for your first month. So your first month will actually be $5. I like Visible. If you're buying a Tesla, just buy here. Savvy Trader, we talked about that. That's right there. If you make money, here is my Venmo, my PayPal, and my Cash App. Okay, you guys have a good weekend. I will talk to you later.